friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So yesterday was chocolate chip cookie day. How did I forget to mention that? Oh, but you gotta have walnuts in them. Are you a walnut or no walnut chocolate chip cookie person? Leave me a comment. This is important discussion. It's also today is barbecue day. And I'm going to take that. I mean, barbecue can be like a wide spectrum of thoughts. It could be actually the act of barbecuing. It could be, there's all different meats that can be barbecued. And then there's the sauce, the all important barbecue sauce. And that's what I'm going to choose to celebrate today because I love barbecue sauce so much. All different kinds too. I'm not like too snobby about it. I will taste and try all different barbecue sauces. And occasionally some of you has sent me your local barbecue sauces, which is a mwah, chef's kiss because they are so divine. When I lived in St. Louis, there is, I think it's still there, a market called Soulard Market. And there were, vendors, and it was kind of a all the time farmers market. And we would go down there from work. I worked at Anheuser-Busch, the brewery, right downtown. And so it was really fun to go and try the different sauces because St. Louis is quite well known for doing barbecue. Okay, so there are the wonderful days. Also, I would like to thank everybody for mentioning my videos when you share about something we've talked about here. I think that is so incredibly helpful. It reminds people that I have videos and that they might want to come over and see what's going on. So thank you for sharing when you do that. Let's see. You also had some incredible volunteer shares in the comments the other day. Was that yesterday? No, day before. I think that was Tuesday, wasn't it? But yeah, it was so interesting to see the different ways that all of you volunteer. If you had not gone back and read through the comments, I think it's just incredibly powerful, the act of volunteering. I volunteer by making quilts and giving them to charity, but it's not an in-person volunteering experience. And that's kind of what I was looking for. Those of you who do those, what kinds and varieties are there? Because I think people want to do something, but they don't really know what's available and what fits them, because you need to do something that fits your interests and your personality, because otherwise, you don't have a passion for it, do you? If you just sort of get drug along to do something that doesn't fit you. But there's so many different ways that you can help others and give back to your community, give back to society. I just think it's a marvelous thing. And sometimes volunteering helps you as well because you make new connections. So if you are looking to make new friends or possibly trying to move into a different kind of a work environment that you don't have any experience in, you can volunteer and gain experience that'll help you transition to a new type of thing. Yeah, so there's all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, and the other thing, just sort of checking, a couple questions came in. One of them I just wrote down was Sharon, but several of you asked in the comments about the antique eagle quilt. Let me pop it up. So the antique eagle quilt here has those cutouts at the bottom, which make the quilt look odd for us as modern quilt makers. We make rectangles. We don't make those cutouts. And many of you surmised that was because somehow for putting it on the bed. And you're right. It was for 4-poster beds, because when you have the posters, some of you own 4-poster beds, so you probably knew right away why that was there. You can't lay something nicely if it's a square or a rectangle on a 4-poster bed. And so there are many antique quilts that are done like this. It's not unusual or uncommon. It's quite common to see that on quilts. Fancier quilts. They were show quilts, the quilts that they made to put on the bed for display or on the fancy bed in the extra bedroom kind of a thing. They may have done it for their regular everyday use as well, but it was practical. That's the whole reason it's there. And so I find that personally very fascinating, and love that there is a reason for it and not just some quirky person. So there's the answer on that one. Today is, okay, we're wrapping up Heart of America. So I have these two parts to do. I did get the surround, but I did a couple videos here, kind of in the process of where we are to here. So let's take a look. So to do the border, what I've done is just taken the stack, and each border is going to be the same. Around, and that's pretty much how the sample is for the pattern, and it just makes it easier. So I will have that pieces here, here, and then down there. So it just makes it super easy. I also want to have the ones that are a little bit more unique so that they're not like right next to each other. So I've got that stripe and that big floral. So they're separated because these are a little bit more distinct. You notice them more. So, okay, so I'm going to lay them all out. That's looking good. So I thought I'd just show you while I'm getting the last parts of this done for the video. I've got the last sashing to go all the way around, which is this part. Remember, this is the free pattern. And I just went ahead and cut it the right size. The thing is, if I made it smaller, it just is saving me maybe an inch or so in width, and it actually, I'm just going to use that width. I can always trim it when it comes back from being quilted, but okay, so I've got all that done. And then the other, I have to put it on, obviously. Also, it's dark out. It's dark out already, but I wanted to do this now rather than waiting till tomorrow when I'm filming the rest of the video, so you just get to see real life. I gotta tighten this, hold on, up here. There we go. Is it drifting? It's still drifting. You can do it, you can hang in there. So this has got grays, a strip of, on the top and bottom to make it longer. It's got sets of gray versus the lights. So I've got the grays, because I'm using the same fabric that the pattern had used, and the lights. I don't think it's doing the light, no. So it's doing these prints, and what I need to do now is just cut them to the sizes needed for the pattern. So for this pattern, I've got, it's a gray row, then a light row, right? Gray, light, there, gray, light, that's how it's laid out, and I'm doing it exactly like that. So I am going to get all those cut. I will measure and get that frame all the way around, that outer border all the way around, and get it done because I'm excited. I love it. I just love it. I think it is so great, but it's not great filming late like this. So that's all for this part. Just wanted to show you where I am with it. You know, just kind of like how it went. Here we go. I have the 4 borders. So these are the last borders, and this is how wide it will be. So there we go. And now I will do that top and bottom extra border and get that on. So I have things cut out, ready to sew. I want to remind you that the gray strips, like here, the gray strips, are wider than the cream colored strips. See? So check the pattern. And I've got them laid out, and I think the only thing I changed was I switched these two so they were not next to each other. On the diagram they were following each other, but because they have more pattern than the others and more colors in it, I split them apart. I would like to switch so that the light blues to the stars. There's not stars against stars, but it starts to get a little finicky because I don't have another light, and then all of a sudden the reds touch each other. So I don't know, I'm gonna mess around a little bit. They might I might find a way. And yes, I did not press those. You are seeing that correctly. I'm a bad quilter. Did not press first, I cut. Oi, yeah, I did. All kinds of wrinkles in there. Don't look. Okay. Okay, now I gotta sew them. So I have not, let me just show you, I have not pressed them yet. See See, I did not press, did not, but I'm going to now. So I'm going to press all 4 of these. There's 2 for the top, 2 for the bottom, and it's the light, which is the skinnier one, and then the gray, the light gray, goes underneath. And so I am going to press those and sew them onto mine. It is once again raining and chilly. This is what I would consider true spring, not something I normally have in Virginia. In Virginia, we usually have, I don't know, like 3 days of true spring, and then it's summer and it's, 85 degrees and humid. But we're getting lots of true spring, which is kind of interesting. Maybe I've had it in the past, but we were on the road for so many years, traveling to other states. Like one year I experienced spring like about 4 times because I would keep going to a new state where they were just having spring, and it was really strange. Okay, so I'm just going to chit chat with you just for a second while we are pressing, because pressing is part of the quilter's life. And I was not the most responsible quilter when I did this because I didn't press to begin with. I used the Oliso iron, I didn't, which has the feet, so I let go and the feet lift. And I do want to remind you, when you do this, the iron, it's great because if you're picking up, putting down, picking up, just working a lot, this saves you some time, and it's heavy. It's a heavy iron. I prefer a heavy iron, but being able to just do this and then adjust your fabric or whatever, and then come back and press a bit more, it is so nice to not have to stick it up. But when you are done pressing, you're not, you're going to go sew now. Do not leave it laying down like this because it is dang hot. It is still pumping all that heat onto your surface for now 30 minutes. It's practically like if you just left it sit for 30 minutes. It doesn't cool down immediately. I mean, logically, think through this very, very logically. You're only a 1/4 of an inch off the surface of your mat or ironing cover. So it will start to scorch it because it's hot still. It's not cold. It's not going to take, cool down in 3 seconds because you set it, you just left it and you haven't used it. So just be mindful of that, because I think it surprises some people because you aren't thinking through what exactly is going on. Okay, so, a good quilter would have pressed their fabric in advance before they cut everything, but I imagine I am not the only person who doesn't. And this is real life in my studio. My videos are not here to show you perfection. They're here to just sort of show you what the life of a real quilter is. all the things that we do. Maybe you can relate then. Maybe you feel like you don't have anybody else that you quilt with, and so hopefully, you come and hang out with me and you get a little bit of quilt talk, quilt inspiration. Okay, so this is done. The one nice thing about this pattern is that you're not matching anything. You're not matching. These will be offset, so there's no seam matching at all. So you don't really need to worry about which direction your seam allowance is in. Now, I did not cut these ends the exact size the pattern did. I don't know why. There was just that, whatever. I just had a chunk and I just cut it in half, and I thought, okay, so it's a little longer than I need, and now I'm going to have to, measure that. So I don't know why I didn't do that in the beginning, but it was just easier. I thought it would just be easier to measure it afterwards so that it has the correct size. I prefer to have the correct size to put it onto the quilt versus putting it on and then chopping off the edges. Plus, I am going to sew this one and this one together and use them as one unit to put them onto the quilt. All right, so I'm going to do all that. So I did measure the bottom part of my quilt, the bottom edge, and then the light had to be trimmed to that size. So I trimmed that one. And what I did to sew, whoops, I thought this cut, still hooked. So what I did is I just offset it a little bit because I didn't measure this one as well. So I only measured that one. And now I will just trim this straight. I know that's not the preferred accuracy method, but that's what I'm doing. Just going to trim that off and then press open this piece, or you could press it open and then trim it off. Just be really careful when you're trimming that you're not angling like out, because it's so easy to do. That's why I kind of do that. When I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it before it's folded open. That way I have a whole line here that I'm using the ruler on that's angled down, and so I don't accidentally sort of, you know, make it wider at one end, which is what causes you wavy borders when you get into it. All right, and now these will go onto the quilt, and remember the light, I mean, if you want to do it like the pattern, the light goes to the quilt side and the grays are on the outside. And so, you know, it's just nice to have them consistent, I think, but, you know, whatever. Just trying to save you from unsewing. So here we go. I have the top and bottom on. The gray is on the outside, which even though it's not a lot darker, particularly when you're sewing it, it doesn't seem, when you're up close to it, it doesn't seem a lot darker, but from a little bit of a distance, it does give the weight. And I think the weight looks better as a pattern designer, as a quilt designer. I think the weight of that looks better on the outside than if it were on the inside. It just sort of elongates the look of the quilt. Yeah, and I do have the bottom correct as well. There we go. Now the one last thing I will do, this will be long arm, so I'm not doing it myself. It will go to the spa, but because this top edge has seams, you know, it's possible when it goes on the machine, you know, it has to be tight. And if your thread at the edge is not locked real well, and I'll show you one that is not, see this? So it is open, see? That's not good, because once it goes in the machine, that little tug could like open that whole seam. And so one, I will fix it, but two, I will do a lock stitch or just a stay stitch right along the top here, and I will show you what I mean by that. And this will just lock down the seams. There are actually some side seams as well, so I could stay stitch those. But first let me talk about up here. These are long strips. It's not like, you know, patchwork really close together with a lot of them. So I could just start at the end and sew all the way across like this, but there's a lot of space here where I'm not, you know, I'm not sewing seams. I'm just sewing fabric, which just seems a waste. So I just cut that. Sorry about the hand in the way. And I can just stay stitch here and here. And I don't need to lock it or anything. All of that will be under my binding. So there we go. That's the stay stitch right there. Just your top stitching so that you're locking the seam down and it won't pop open. That one I forgot to, yeah, see, this is the one. Is this the one? This is the one. See, I need to fix this first, because even if I stay stitch, I'm not getting to the edge. So here's one that's, come on, go flat. Here's one that's, you know, good. I don't have to fix it. I had that one that needed fixed. And then I just hit my baby lock, and many of your machines have thread cutter. So I just take it out. So I don't worry about the tails. I don't worry about anything else. You're just trying to do this close enough to the edge so it's under your binding. Here it is. Looks so good. See the gray at the top and the bottom. It does give that little bit of weight like I just mentioned. But yeah, it's all stay stitched. And now let's talk about backing. I want to do something fun for backing. So, you know, I thought about this. Remember I showed you the flag? This flag? The thing is, my colors are not the navy. I'm using the light blue. So if this was light blue, I'd probably do it. But for those of you who have the navy in yours, this would be so cool to put across the middle and then put, you know, more of, you know, fabric top and bottom. But it's not going to work for me. So I actually had gotten two backing options. Well, one the Fat Quarter Shop sent me. They sent me this one, which is the floral from there. I think it's gorgeous. And then I bought this one, which was part of the line. Right now, Fat Quarter Shop doesn't have it anymore, and you know how this goes. They won't have it again, but you might find it somewhere else. It was part of the line. It's a cheater cloth, of, isn't that gorgeous? So that is what I bought, thinking I would use it for the back. And then I thought, well, maybe I should just make it its own quilt. And that's probably not going to happen. So I am going to use this one for the back. And I don't know that I'm going to have to piece something. I just have to look. I don't know how much I got. It's not a wide back. It's just regular yardage. And so it's not wide enough. So I'll probably use this and then put this on the sides. Yeah, so that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. Okay. So I'm going to work on getting that done this evening, just to sew that up, get that whole thing ready so it can go to the spa. Whoops. Okay, my friend. Heart of America, thank you so much for sewing along with me. It has been a super fun project. Pretty fast and easy after you get that little circle of stars done. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. Repeat that. It was fun. Okay, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. And send me some barbecue sauce ideas. You know, like if you have a favorite, leave it in the comments. So, I'll see you online.